we're getting ready to pull out this week's project, so here it is. Beautiful modern MCM. A client wants me to refinish it for her.
Pull it outside. It's the beauty.
I probably had this guy sit in my garage for 3 years now. Some unique features are a decorative keyhole in the top drawer. I never seen one in a modern piece. And also the beadboard looking sides. One of the reasons I didn't get to work on it sooner was because I was hopeful that one day I would find a replacement for the broken handle, but I never did. I love the pieces of burl wood the hardware rests on. Today, I'm going to be attempting to restore it with a minor change in hardware and stain color. You remember the little table and 2 chairs that I refinished for these sweet little girls? Well, their mom loved so much the work that I did on this set and another dresser for her son's bedroom that the word spread around and her neighbor reached out. She purchased not only the black dresser that I refinished on last week's video, but she also asked me if I had anything that looked like this in my inventory. I'll be refinishing the second piece for that neighbor. I'm so grateful. I really pour my heart and soul into it. I appreciate every comment. It really does mean a lot because that's what keeps the channel going. And with that, this guy definitely needs a new beginning. Get started. Playing too? Oh, you didn't tell me this? It's kind of a shame because they are so cool. The top still had some glue residue from the price label when we first bought it, and inevitably a couple of paint drops that managed to fall on it had to be scraped off. I'm using some heavy-duty simple green to loosen and clean those out. For sure is that I'm gonna remove the finish on its entirety, but I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna be sanding or using a stripper, because if I look in the bag I can see that there are some parts that are made of solid wood. Okay, so here this is a whole solid piece of wood. You can tell because the wood grain follows right along on this side and this side. Same here. That dark line here indicates that this is veneer here. Suspected, so the frame, yep, follows right across here and right along there. The wood grain on this part versus the outside looks different, so there's definitely veneer on these parts. But overall, this is a stunning piece of furniture and it has many, many years ahead. I might start with a sander and see how hard or not the finish comes off. When it's very slicky on the top, that means that they use a good lacquer, which is great, but for us refinishers to remove it is challenging. So okay, let's give it a go and see how it goes. Friends, I'm gonna start sanding using 100 grit. As I suspected, the finish is not sanding easily. So I think I want to give acetone a try. I'm gonna test it out on one of the drawers. And if it works, I might try to use acetone on most of the piece. Safety comes first. Protect your eyes. And you don't want to breathe in that acetone. I'm working on a well-ventilated area here.
Let's do it.
We're gonna be pouring straight acetone right on the drawer. We're gonna let it sit there only for a few seconds, and you're gonna see how easily the varnish comes off. I'm using one of those really cheap brushes to help me spread the acetone, and then I'm using 000 steel wool to give it a scrub. If you have a finish that's shellac or lacquer, the acetone will turn it back to liquid. If you don't wipe it back off, the acetone will evaporate and the varnish will re-solidify. So keep bathing it and brushing it in the acetone. By working on a small section at a time, I found that the removal process went quicker. It's removing that really hard lacquer that's on top. Those two drawers probably took me a total of 10 minutes maybe. The acetone is probably cutting down my sanding time to more than half. Good morning, sweet friends. So here is how that dresser is looking. The acetone only removed that top layer that wasn't going anywhere with my sanding sheet. Saved me really on sanding paper, more economical and less labor intensive. So just a little FYI if you're hoping to tackle a project in the future. And for obvious reasons, these would have to be a product that you only use outdoors. There are a couple stains on the top. We'll see what Bars Keepers Friends does for those. I'm gonna sand some scratches off and see how it looks when we're all done. There are two areas where I'm gonna try to scrub with Bars Keepers Friends to see if I can get rid of the stains. One of the stains was very obvious when I first bat, and you can see looks kind of ashy. And then the one in the back, actually there's several in the back. Right here, there's a few dark spots. And then this one here, I'm just always intrigued. Like, what did people put on top of it that make the wood grain turn black? I'm gonna let it sit there for a minute, kind of working the product in, if you would. But before I got farther into sanding, I wanted to see if I could get rid of this. Maybe I should have done these after I sanded. I don't know. It's been a minute. The dark spots over here are gone, but these two large stains or watermarks are still there. Let's see what sanding does for those. But the front one turned out great. I'm gonna be switching to my square Surfprep sander because do you remember the burl wood pieces here that I'm trying to preserve? And I know that this sander is a lot more gentle than the orbital one. And because of its square shape, it makes sanding all these 90-degree angles a breeze. I'm gonna be cleaning the dresser with a TSP alternate right after this, and then I'm gonna be using some wood filler to fill in a couple repairs. I'm gonna use a little bit of wood filler on a couple imperfections. One's right here, one right here, and maybe a little bit on this side. They are a little too deep for me to sand without either changing the shape or blowing through the veneer. applying a very light coat of shellac sanding sealer. This is gonna work for two things. One is gonna be a primer for those areas where I'm gonna be applying a color wash. And it's also gonna help so that the water-based stain takes more even. It has to be a very light coat. Beginning, my customer told me that she was not a very visual person, and that's why I decided to make just a few samples with different stain colors. From darker to lighter, she chose the lightest one. I would have never thought of pairing these two together. The great thing about her choosing the stain color, oops, I lost the other one, is that this is a water-based stain. So I don't have to worry about my water-based paint coming in contact with it too soon. You're gonna have to let me know what you guys think of the final product at the end, but for now, let's get to it. Sometimes the shellac causes the wood grain to rise. I'm gonna knock any of it off by doing a very fine sanding. And now using a damp cloth, I'm gonna go ahead and remove all that dust. Keep in mind that water-based stains dry much faster than oil-based ones. That's why I highly recommend to apply them section by section. If you're gonna be working on a large surface, I suggest adding Stender to the stain. This will increase your open work time. This product is also available through General Finishes. After I let the stain sear for a minute, I go ahead and wipe off any excess softly using a shop paper towel. To stain the frame, I'm gonna be using the color Algonquin from Fusion Mineral Paint. I mixed 3 parts water to 1 part paint to create this stain-like look. And I'm applying it the same way as I applied the stain, just waiting a minute and wiping off any excess. Excited because we're getting closer to the finish line. Today I'm just gonna be applying top coat high performance flat. I wasn't really sure if I was gonna like the colors that my customer chose, which really it doesn't matter because it's not for me, it's for her. So as long as she likes it and she loves it, that's all it matters. But I am pretty surprised that I like it as much as I do. We also ordered some handles that she chose that just fit the sizing perfectly for this guy. I'm gonna be spraying 3 coats, waiting about half hour between each coat. Friends, it's time to take a quick look into the past and remember where these dressers started. And here he is after a much needed makeover. As always, let me know what you guys think of this transformation in the comments and stay until the end where I give you a quick profit breakdown. Drop off both dressers. Exciting day, drop off day, delivery date. It's always exciting.